Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this virtual open house event. My name is Eleanor from Holton International Business School. I've been with Holt since 2018 as an MIM student and as an enrollment advisor. So welcome everybody to this event. We love bringing people together from all around the world. That's why we ask you to write in the chat, where are you joining us from? Let's see. We have Talia. Where are you from, Talia? Oh, we have Colombia, a couple from Colombia. We have from Netherlands. We had Germany, Ghana, Italy, Japan, Bangladesh. It's midnight right now. Kenya, we have West Africa, a lot from Africa. We have from UK. Okay, so today I'm here with our Boston campus dean, Dean Frederick Chartier, our corporate relations associate, Priyam Sinha, our head of student services, Christina Shimkus, and finally, our Holt student, Walter Paitu. We will start today with getting an overview of Holt from Dean Chartier, and then Priyam will guide us through what gives our career services such a competitive edge. And Christina will give us the ins and out of campus clubs and society and all the fun activities you can do outside the classroom. We will then do our Q&A session with our current students. Before we begin, I want to mention that if you have any questions, you will be able to ask any of the speakers. So please add your questions in the Q&A box and we will try to answer all of them during the session. To kick off the session, I'll be sharing a video of the campus so you can imagine yourself here, hopefully soon.
Boston is just the mecca of education in the world.
Boston has always been known as a student town, the kind of academic environment I really want to be in. So this is the most international school I've ever seen.
The other day I walked into the elevator, there's Spanish, and then there's Italian, and then there's French being spoken, and then there's also Mandarin, and then there's me. So you walk in and you're thinking to yourself, this is the world and this is the way that it should be.
I love everything about Boston. I mean, I'm a Red Sox fan, so I go to every single game that I'm possible to go.
This kind of sports culture here in Boston is just so rich.
It's a vibrant city, and the history that's here.
The location of the actual campus itself is right by the Charles. So the view is absolutely gorgeous.
There's music and definitely a wonderful nightlife. And you would be very hard pressed to find something that you wouldn't enjoy in this city.
There are different types of working professionals in Boston that Holt has relationships with. They bring in and we can ask them questions about potential internships and potential jobs, and also just having a tour of their headquarters.
The professors that came, oh my God, they had this depth of subject matter. The content was something I had not been exposed to previously in my education.
You meet with a caring career advisor who puts you directly on track with your resume and with your LinkedIn profile.
I can tell that in these past 2 months with my teammates, I improved my professional skills much better than like 5 years working before in my home country.
What I imagined really is a perfect fit. It's what I wanted to see when I got here.
And I thought, if this is what I'm going to get from 1 year, oh, my life has changed.
Thank you. Now, without further ado, I will hand over to our Dean Chartier.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Eleanor. My name is Frederick Chartier. I'm the Dean of the Boston campus postgraduate programs. It's an honor to welcome you. I was going to talk more about Boston, but I think the video already covered a lot, right, about what's attractive about our city of Boston. I come from Paris and I've been in Boston for 22 years and 17 years at Holt. And I have to say the city of Boston is absolutely wonderful. This hub of higher education, but also has a lot of, very vibrant in many ways. The Boston campus offers both undergraduate and graduate programs. We have 5 master's programs running in our Boston campus. So master's students are about currently 815, about as many undergrads, and we are in 3 different buildings, including a residential building that is available. Our curriculum is very applied. So we bring in a lot of what we call live clients, people from the industry, in different types of courses, whether it's marketing, whether it's finance, whether it's business analytics. Our professors also, a lot of them, as myself, come from the industry originally, and some are still in the industry, working day jobs, so to speak. So all this provides a very, very applied and sort of job-ready skills that employers are really looking for. So we're very proud. We use a lot of simulations also, so very, very practical teaching is what we do. So again, I really look forward to seeing you on our campus. We're very, very proud of our Boston campus here at HALT and HALT in general. And I'm going to let my colleagues go a little deeper into the details of what we can offer. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean. Now I'd like to walk you through the application process as well as our scholarships and awards, as we have so many questions about this. As you may already know, Holt has campus locations in San Francisco, Boston, London, and Dubai. And we also offer rotation campuses. One of them is in New York. Our programs allow you to rotate around the world and spend time at any of and all of these locations if you'd like. And it's an amazing opportunity for you to experience different cultures and business environments and build a global network and look for job opportunities in different regions across the globe. Pictured here, you can see the location of Holt's amazing Boston campus, centrally located within the city and not far from historic sites and amazing restaurants. And of course, as many of you know, Boston is a hub for innovation, education, healthcare, consulting, and a booming startup scene. And located along the Charles River just across from downtown Boston and a few blocks down the street from schools like Harvard and MIT, and Holt's Boston campus is a phenomenal environment to be a student. Holt offers a variety of different master's programs, and as you can see, these programs are widely recognized across top rankings by The Economist, Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, and many more. And I work with students applying to Holt's master's programs listed in the screen. Next slide, please. Next slide. There we go. And as a reminder, for those who have still not yet started their application or secured their seat in a program at Holt, our upcoming deadline is on February 16. So by securing your seat before February 16, you are guaranteeing up to 100% tuition award towards the dual degree program. So please speak with your enrollment advisor directly to find out about your dual degree tuition award eligibility. During your studies at Holtz, you'll spend the first portion working on your core foundational business courses, working in cross-cultural teams. Next slide, please. There we go. Working in cross-cultural teams towards your final capstone project. And once your capstone projects have concluded, you will move into the elective portion of the program, where you can travel to 2 of our 6 campuses. And ultimately, you can spend 18 months in total of taking courses at Holtz. And you are graduating with 2 master's degrees. Definitely an amazing opportunity that's not typically offered at more traditional business schools. And we're currently offering, as I mentioned, up to 100% tuition awards towards the dual degree program for students who are securing their seat before the 16th of February. Continuing with our agenda, let me introduce you to our Corporate Relations Associate, Priyam.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good morning from the Boston campus, actually, and thank you for highlighting such incredible things about our campus, Ellie. It is such a pleasure to be here. Just to introduce myself a little bit, I'm certainly a proud alumnus of this fine institution, but also I'd love to talk about careers and corporate relations because I completely do realize that a lot of your transitions are going to be based on jobs and careers. Well, let me start off by saying that our goal here, especially at Careers and Corporate Relations, is extremely simple. And it's, well, basically just one word. And that word happens to be employability, right? So we work behind the scenes to actually identify the scope. And we try to position and market you based off of the skills and competencies that you actually learn in the classroom. While you will go through the core foundation of your classes within the classrooms, you would learn some phenomenal skills that we would help you position well in the United States market. And that's exactly where we come in to kind of have that professional foundation to help you grow your careers. But the main question often and always is being asked, and that happens to be, how do we actually do it? Interestingly enough, we actually assign each and every student from day one, since you come into the campus, to somebody called as the Career Development Advisor. This Career Development Advisor is a one-on-one coaching session, 45 minutes each for 4 times in the entire year, where you get to not only sit on your resumes, your LinkedIn profiles, and so much more, but this Career Development Advisor actually helps to kind of position you into the marketplace. How they do it is that they help you look at target markets, target jobs, the companies that you're inclined towards, or if you want to work for the MNCs. And this person will solely handedly work with you throughout the 1 year that you are going to be with us at HALT to help ensure that you're meeting your career expectations adequately. The one thing, next slide, please. Perfect. So the one thing I always say whenever I talk about careers and corporate relations is that HALT does one thing tremendously well, and that is called pushing you out of your comfort zone. Because comfort zone is that favorite bubble of ours, that bubble which you always want to supersede to actually start networking phenomenally. And so this is exactly where HALT actually comes in. And I'd love to kind of walk you through where our alumni go after graduation, because that's often the one thing that is always asked to most of our career development advisors, but also careers. As you can see, there is a strategic concentration in the California market. There is also Houston, Texas. There is Miami down in Florida. We also have Orlando. And then there is this big concentration in the New York market, which is the New York City and the upstate New York, followed by obviously Massachusetts or Boston at large. Boston seriously is a hub for, well, not only just companies like Pfizer, so on and so forth, but also it is a startup hub. So if you are inclined towards entrepreneurship, this is certainly the market for you. Next slide, please. Perfect. So here at HALT Boston, what the careers team does is that we ensure that it's certainly a recruiting season all year round. We want to make sure that you're getting the best of both worlds, and that happens through constant relationships with employers. Visible on the right-hand side are some of the companies that we get to work with, but also these are some of the companies where our alumni actually live or exist in, actually. So what we do is we try to position our alumni into the campus, and we to an extent utilize our alums to give you that exposure back. And we strategically do that through industry expert panels, through alumni panels, through employer spotlights, through the virtual or the on-campus job fairs that we traditionally have, the tons and tons of networking events, which I truly promise you are phenomenal. And lastly, we do some guest workshops and the LinkedIn Guys courses, which all roundedly really helps you to overall nurture your professional growth and kind of help you expand yourself within the United States market. Next slide, please. That is amazing. So I quickly wanted to walk through what it would actually look like when you actually came into HALT and you pursued this professional career development journey with us at HALT. What would happen is you would traditionally come into Boston in fall, and what fall is going to look like is we will certainly welcome you. So that's our immersion period. We will help you start building your resume from day one, and that's going to be with those career development advisors and the careers team, right? Because we want to target those specific keywords, those job profiles that you want to get to when you graduate in August. And we instantaneously start that without any hesitation in September. We then quickly work out with all the panels that I was talking about, which is the industry panels, connecting you and helping you network with industry professionals, which is certainly something that will be ongoing throughout September to December. Next slide. Perfect. In the spring, which happens to be this time, traditionally January to March, making connections with those industry experts. So we start to apply every single action plan that you've actually learned from the fall, and we try to incorporate in the spring so that you can actually position yourself for the summer internships, which traditionally start in May. Next slide, please. And lastly, during the summer, we certainly will help you to get internships because those internships help in the full-time conversions of jobs. But we also help you to negotiate job offers and salary requirements and kind of map salary expectations based off of the skill sets that you've achieved throughout the entirety of the program. And lastly, we end the summer with this incredible student mixture where we invite alumni and corporate guests. And again, it's an incredible time to just network, meet new people, and hopefully position yourself in those companies. Next slide, please. Lastly, I quickly wanted to cover some of the digital premium resources that HALT offers you, obviously included in your tuition fee. Well, there are 6 of them on the screen. I'm going to quickly cover 2 of them, one of them being VMOC, which is just like ChatGPT or an artificial intelligence tool, which helps to really look and narrow down on key resume keywords and helps you pass this whole system here in the US called as the ATC, or the applicant tracking software. The applicant tracking software is used by most companies here to kind of scan your resume and then, land you the first round of interviews. And so this is where VMOC comes in, is that it gives you a VMOC score in which you'd be able to better curate your resume, which again is a premium resource over something that we like to call My Careers. The next one I quickly wanted to talk about was Handshake, where this is just like LinkedIn Jobs. We work with tons of corporate partners to land you these internships and these jobs. And so Handshake is this built-in job application portal only exclusive to HALT students, which receive instant access to any job that's currently out there in the marketplace, inclusive of internships for May of 2023 or May 2024. Next slide, please. And lastly, I wanted to introduce you to the campuses that Eleanor was talking about. We, as a corporate relations and careers team, are certainly global. We operate in San Francisco, Boston, London, Dubai, and then we also have somebody known as executive coaches, which work independently based off of the niches of a market or a segment that you're trying to penetrate in. So for example, if you are a consultant who has about 10 to 15 years of work experience, these individuals will help you position you in any market around the world. And so that's the reason why we call them executive or M-band coaches, because these folks come in with tremendous amount of experience and expertise in terms of helping you network with these high profile companies or the Fortune 100s that we like to talk about. Last slide, please. That's great. So certainly cannot wait to work with you. I think it's going to be a phenomenally interesting journey for most of you who do come into our Boston campus. If you do want to follow us, I would highly recommend that. We have one Instagram page, which is called halt.careers. You can see it all the way at the bottom. You can see every single company spotlight, networking event, the companies that we bring in. And this would kind of give you an overview of the kind of events or the kind of things that the careers team traditionally does to kind of support your student journey. With that, I do want to hand it over to my colleague from the student services team and the head of student services, Christina.
Hi, sorry. I just wanted to be aware of the time. So Walter, our current Master's in Business Analytics student, has a presentation at 10:30. So if we could just have him available to answer some questions that students have. A typical question, or some of the questions that students typically ask, is why did you choose HALT? And what's a typical day at HALT like? Walter?
I'm sorry for the mix-up. So yes, well, first off, thank you for the introduction. My name is Walter, currently from West Africa, Ghana, And I am currently in Hall International Business School, and I chose business analytics. So to answer your questions, Eleanor, it's more of like a subjective feel, yes? So it's more of what you really feel like you're going to excel in. I chose business analytics because I'm a very analytical guy. I know, no pun intended. But also it's where the world is also kind of going into, because we are more into IT now, right? So I just wanted to be in the area where the world will be more beneficial. I will benefit more into as well. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah. And just to give everyone an idea, Walter is actually one of the students I worked with for this intake, and it has been a pleasure working with Walter. We met like during the summer of 2022 during our accepted students dinner, and if you secure your seat with Holt, you're definitely gonna have the chance to interact with other incoming students over the summer in person. Um, Another question is, what's a typical day at Holt like? How does your program look like for you? Any clubs and societies?
Uh, so unfortunately for me, business analytics is one of the toughest programs here being offered a Halt. So I'll be honest with you, it's not easy. It's not easy. You do have to be able to, you have to be willing to burn the extra night candle to be able to succeed. And also being able to succeed, it comes in various options, right? It's not you trying to study for this assignment or trying to do this group project. It's not always going to pan out the way you wanted to go. By the way Halt has been organized, there are still more options for you to make up and even excel more than you actually thought you would, so, and at the end of the day, it's not about just the grades that matter, right? It's more of how much information can you get out of what is being taught. How did that change you, or what did you learn? Can you teach this a different person about the same thing that you just learned? So I would say like my day at Halt, or my day-to-day basis at Halt, is very, very, very informational. And I guess because I also want to be here, so I do the passion does do a lot.
Someone asked, please may I know some of the professors for business analytics?
They want to know some of the professors for business analytics.
Like, who are some of the professors you've had in our business analytics program?
So I've had Professor Escamilla, the famous one, Professor Chase, one of my favorite professors, and for other different courses that is not entirely analytical related, but it's also needed in the program, is communications. I think we've had Professor not Christy, I forgot her name. This is the last semester. But right now we do have Professor Turner. And they're actually very helpful. I do see the communications and collaboration class as more of like a class that you do need to, obviously you do need to learn how to work with people and also communicate more, as opposed to just knowing your numbers. Because as an analytical student, you do know how to read your numbers. And a lot of people don't really know how to understand the numbers like you do. So you have to be able to explain yourself more of like through storytelling, through data. And that is what communications collaboration does. And yeah, so the most important professors that you would need, or you would help you mostly, is Professor Escamilla and Professor Chase Costera.
Okay, and then someone asked whether you had previous data experience or background in analytics.
I did
And
not.
then to follow that with how are the modules taught, and how is it if you don't already have experience with data, let's say in learning R or Python, for instance. So I believe you don't have background in Python. So how was it?
So my background is completely from the medical field. I was in medical school before coming into Halt. No experience in IT or coding. You can name all the languages that you know or probably will come. And the way it is, as I said before, it's more of like, how bad do you want it, right? How badly do you want it? I see myself at home studying, doing practices. DataCamp has it, Hackers Rank has it, YouTube has it. You literally have to teach yourself, right? So if you don't have the experience, which was what I didn't have, you have to catch up, because I found myself in classes with a lot of people who have work experience, who have experience with actually coding, and I don't see myself getting away from these people. Obviously, you want to get connected with them, right? So because they know more than you do, so it's easier for you to communicate and also learn a few things from them. But do not be scared if you think you don't have experience in coding at all. It's like language. Nobody was born to speak any language. You learn over time, right? You just have to keep practicing and practicing. You see me here, you hear me speaking this American English. I have a thick African accent that is still hidden in my tongue, but I'm able to, speak this American accent because I've been able to speak it over time. So it's just like coding, right? Just coding, keep testing yourself, keep watching YouTube videos. Hackers Rank, DataCamp, these are the two very most essential software websites that really do help you with coding. And yeah, I would advise you guys to do that too. And do not be scared if you don't have coding knowledge at all. It's well thought of by HALT to get you to speed.
And in interest of you being able to run to class in 2 minutes, the last question for now would be, what advice would you give someone who is indecisive in like coming to HALT or doing the Master's in Business Analytics program?
If you're indecisive, I think business analytics is the right option for you. You know why? Because I was also very indecisive. I was very indecisive. I had, when I started my program, even my parents did not even know I switched from medical field into IT. Like nobody had an idea. That's how indecisive I was. I was not communicating with anybody because I knew it was me and I was doing it for my own self, right? So do not be dismayed or troubled if I don't know if it's going to be a good deal. But I'll say this: if you're thinking about it, I think you should take the step. If you're thinking about it, because usually if you're thinking about it, you're more worried if you're going to excel or you're not going to. And as I said, it's how badly do you want it? Because once you get into it, you have no choice but to go through it and excel. And HALT is going to get you to do that. Okay, so yeah, these are my 2 cents of advice that I have. I hope it was helpful.
Yeah, how about coming to HALT?
Coming to HALT is the best thing. We're called Haltians. I can't even say
HALTians.
Haltians, yeah. HALT is great. Meeting different people is amazing. Getting to eat different food is amazing. Hear people speak different languages is amazing. I know a lot of Nigerians. I'm Ghanaian. We always banter about jollof rice, even though Ghana jollof is better. I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this, but yeah, it's just it's a community filled with a lot of background, a lot of different ethnic groups, a lot of people, So it's good. It's good. It challenges you, and companies hire you not because of what you've learned from school. It's more of like your skills. Okay, it's more of like, what can you do if I hire you? Your skills is what you're looking for. So HALT is definitely the best option for you, if you ask me. And I'm seeing a lot of the comments going up about Ghana jollof and Nigeria jollof. Ghana jollof is the best, and that's period.
Well, thank you so much, Walter. Run to class. Hopefully Professor Turner would be kind to you, have him reach out to me if he has issues with that. Just moving forward, I wanted to continue our discussion and reintroduce our Head of Student Services, Ms. Christina Shimkas. We'll continue to answer questions after.
Thank you, Eleanor. And I wanted to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody who's on this call. It's wonderful to meet you. My name is Christina Shimkas. I'm the Head of Student Services here at HALT Boston. And with me today, is my colleague, Angel Hoagland. She's also on the call. If you have any questions, we are here to support you. But we are also here to share a slice of student life at HALT Boston, so you have a better idea what it's like for our students. I know we are just following in the footsteps of Walter, and I'm sure that his information is also very valuable, but there's a little bit more that we wanted to share about clubs, student government, events, and all the fun that we have outside of the classroom at our campus. Next slide, please. So I wanted to talk about student engagement opportunities on our campus, sort of extending beyond the classroom, as I just mentioned. We have over 44 clubs currently on our campus. We have student government. Actually, Walter is part of postgraduate student government at our campus. We have Go Global committees that are helping us organize all wonderful cultural events that we have throughout the year. There's networking groups, peer support groups, and many opportunities for not just engagement, but also for leadership. So all of these different opportunities give you options to be engaged with students, but also run different clubs, run different events, have really hands-on experience on our campus with our extracurriculars. Next slide, please. A big part of our clubs are obviously professional clubs. A lot of our students are coming from all professions, and they're interested in continuing to deepen their skills and network with others. So in addition to all the wonderful things that our careers team is doing, we also have clubs organizing events, bringing in speakers from the industries, and offering these wonderful opportunities to our students to engage outside of the classroom and to connect with other professionals. Next slide, please. We do have sports clubs. What you're seeing in this photo is our soccer field that's right next to our campus building. And we do have both men's and women's soccer teams. We have volleyball, we have golf, basketball, you name it. So lots of opportunities for sports. As was mentioned earlier in the video, Boston is a hub for many different sports, so we do encourage our students to be active outside of the classroom and engage in different sports opportunities on our campus. After the pandemic, I can tell you that sports really exploded on our campus. Students were really interested in being out there, being active, so I do encourage you to do the same. Next slide, please. Social clubs are very important on our campus as well. What you're seeing here is just a couple of examples of clubs that are here to really bring our community together. We have clubs that organize bake sales and volunteer off campus doing community service. We have clubs that, for example, you're seeing a slide with a picture with Voices of HALT. That's our podcasting club that invites students to share their experiences with the rest of the campus community and tell them what it's like to be a student at HALT. And also what are their insights about their journey and experience with us. They also bring in guest speakers as well. So lots of opportunities to connect with students who share similar interests to you, or even start a club if you have a particular interest. We really support our students to engage with others on campus. Next slide, please. This is a bit of a snapshot for clubs that we currently have on our campus. Obviously, they change every year. So some years it's more sort of, there's more interest for social clubs, others it's more for sports clubs, as I mentioned. So this is obviously not all the clubs that we currently have, but gives you an idea of where the interest is for our students currently. So it's a really vast selection. I think anybody can find something that they're interested in this selection. And we do have, most of the clubs are on Instagram and sharing their club activities and events through social media. Next slide, please. This is actually a photo with Postgraduate HALT Student Association. It's a fun team, as you can see. They are representing campus students on campus with campus leadership. So their role is not just to build community on our campus, but they're also here to represent the student body. If there's any needs or any concerns, that could be addressed, they are here to represent them. Next slide, please. Last but not least, just wanted to share a small slice of the fun that we have with our Go Global events. So Go Global events on our campus celebrate different cultures. As you've noticed, we have so many cultures on our campus. We are really proud of our diverse community, and we do celebrate this community through all these wonderful activities. You can see photos from some of our events. In the fall, we had Dia de los Muertos. We actually had a mariachi band come to campus and perform, which was really, really fun. We had, of course, Diwali, which is a wonderful, enriching event to attend. Of course, we had Halloween and pumpkin carving. I mean, we're in New England after all. And also this spring, we're gearing up. We already had Lunar New Year, which was wonderful. Next in line is Carnival. We have Eid. And we are also always open for student suggestions for new events that we can put together, where we'll bring our students to our community together. They can share different traditions, they share different foods, and everybody's learning from this wonderful experience. I think that's it for my slides. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Thanks, Christina. We do have a couple of questions. I just wanted to kind of pull them up. So some of the questions that people ask, if you have any questions, by the way, please put them in a Q&A box, not in the chat, just because we are going to miss it if it's in the chat. So one of the questions is, I'd like to know how to study in your school. Please go ahead and go visit our website. It's hult.edu. You can download the brochure or start an application with us, and one of our enrollment advisors will reach out to you. Please give them some time to get back to you. It really depends on where you are located. For students who are coming from Africa, there are a lot of students who are interested in doing a master's program with HOLT, so please give them some time to get back to you. Next is accommodation housing included in the program? If not, how much is it? So in terms of housing, if you mean if it's included in the tuition fee that's posted online, it is not. So you could either stay outside of Holt House. Like in Boston, we have Holt House, which is like a student apartment dorm style. And the cost of that really depends on the kind of room that you get. So there's like a 2-bedroom apartment style, and there's like a 2-bed in one bigger room. And then there's like a studio apartment. So it really depends. The price of that really depends. But we also have some students who are staying off campus, and that's allowed as well. And then this is more for careers. Priyam, do students after the master's program get job offers?
Thank you for asking that question. And I would answer that with the word, which means it depends. Now, if you're a student who's extremely proactive, like I said, if you've started in September, you're meeting with your career advisors, you are constantly working with the careers team, but also you're attending those networking sessions or the industry panels, I can absolutely say without a doubt that yes, you will be landing an internship offer or an OPT job offer after graduation, for sure. I know that when people traditionally transition out of their countries, it does take some time for adjustment. And so what I would certainly say is whenever you come into the campus, make sure that you're meeting up with career services, you're meeting up with your career development advisors, and you're meeting with the corporate relations team so that, yes, we can absolutely help position you successfully early on in the year so that you can land that full-time offer before graduation.
Thank you. So someone also asked, how does it help to have pass CFA level 1 for the master's program at HOLT? So it really depends on which program you're looking into. Safwan. So if you're looking into our Masters in International Business, our MBA, or basically it helps with your admissions in terms of being able to prepare yourself for the program, especially like Masters in Finance or Masters in Business Analytics. Then it again really depends, but the CFA level 1 should be able to help you also with your Masters in Finance program if you do choose to do the Masters in Finance. I would say connect with your enrollment advisor just so that they could address your question better. Okay. Surabhi, what percentage of course dedicated to learning coding and different languages? I'm assuming this is for Masters in Business Analytics, and it was originally directed to Walter. So actually, if we could just go back to the slide with the 1-year timeline, I'd really appreciate that. Okay, while we wait for that. So your timeline in 1 year, basically from September to April, you'll be doing your core classes. And as you can see, the core classes and core challenges, that would be your modules 1, 2, and 3. So at the end of each module, you'll be doing what we call a Holt Business Challenge. Those will be all like the coding, different languages, whatever you'll need, the foundations of your Masters in Business Analytics. And then from May to August, you'll see electives and specializations. It's the time for you to pursue any of the courses that would be of interest to you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be related to analytics, but you can definitely pursue electives that are in analytics, provided they're not redundant with your program. Next one. Someone's asking about the Holt House. Christina, would you be able to answer that? Let me just pull it up.
What was the question?
Cost of living in Holt House. Sorry, there's like a lot of questions right now.
I think that the best bet for students, because there are different options at Holt House, in terms of what kind of accommodation you have. Is it a single room? Are you sharing a room? Is it an apartment? It really differs. It also depends on if you're staying the full year, half year, over the summer. So your best bet is really to visit our pages for housing and then find more information there and reach out directly to our residential life team. They'll be able to provide more information about our housing. But I know a lot of our students do take advantage of the fact that Holt House is literally across the street from us. It is 10 steps away. So in the middle of winter, it's very convenient to come to class. You just hop out and you're in class in a matter of minutes. So I know it's a very popular option. So I do suggest that you check out with our Res Life what the options are for you.
Okay, thank you. The question was, when will fall season prices and options in Holt House be open? I believe it should be open sometime in the summer. Please, again, reach out to your enrollment advisor. The enrollment advisor would typically let you know when all these options are available, and they'd be able to guide you further. Next one is, when are we expecting our I-20 forms? Once you've secured your seat, I-20, because I'm assuming you're coming to United States. Once you have secured your seat, our US visas teams have already started reaching out to our students. So once you have all the required documents to be issued an I-20, you're good to go, and they'd be able to issue it to you within a week. And then, sorry, like a lot of it is enrollment questions. Can you also inform us a little bit about fees? So the fees really depends on your program and which campus you're going to. I'm assuming you're coming to Boston. So the fees for Boston for the first degree is $55,000. You can apply for scholarship and financial aid. Please, again, reach out to your enrollment advisor for help on that, and like to ask about how to apply for scholarship and financial aid. And then Priyam, this is for you. Please, are MBAN students allowed to work part-time on campus?
That's a great question. So in your 1-year program, traditionally any master's program that you're doing here at HULT, you do have the option to have on-campus employment for 20 hours a week. So you can work with teams with Christina, which is either student services or corporate relations or the careers team, or there are multiple other teams like IT, tech support, so on and so forth. But if you are coming in for a 1-year master's program, you can only work on campus until April. So what I mean by that is that from May until August, you do have something called as a CPT, or a curricular practical training, which kind of opens up the opportunity for you to land an internship. So the only time period, if you're coming in for a 1-year postgraduate master's program, that you can actually work is from May until August, which is a 3-month period. And the best part about that period is that you get academic credit for actually working or pursuing an internship. So what that means is during the elective time, which is right after your core, you would actually get 2 academic credits for actually working in an internship. But if you do pursue the dual degree right after, you have authorization to work for an internship from day 1. So what I mean by that is, let's say you came here in September, you graduated in August, and then you started your dual degree in September, which traditionally graduates in April, you will have the authorization to work from October. So if you're pursuing a dual degree, you would have the authorization to work from day 1. But with the first year full-time master's program, you do not have immediate authorization to work. Hoping that answers that question.
This is for Christina. Are there any restrictions to be part of the student government, or I'm assuming our HSA?
Correct. No restrictions. Actually, we encourage students to explore this leadership opportunity the minute they come to campus. During orientation and intake, we do share information about elections that usually take place in October. So it's for the current academic year. If you're interested, this is definitely a wonderful opportunity. It looks great on your resume. And it's something that we have every year. It's very popular, and our students are always very interested.
Someone's asking about whether you get support for their visa when accepted into postgraduate studies. Do they have the right to go to a public school there? I'm not sure about public school. Isaiah, I would suggest speaking to your enrollment advisor about it, just because it depends on the program. And for the students I work with, typically they are already in United States. So I don't work with like those H4 visas, because those are dependent visas. I would say connect with your enrollment advisor so that they can guide you further on this. And then, is there a fully funded scholarship that covers everything from visas to accommodation and monthly stipend? Unfortunately, we don't. We only offer partial scholarships just because we want to support as many students as we can. So if you think about it, there is a set amount of funds. So typically we tell students the earlier you start your application, the better your scholarship packages are. And also, if we're able to provide a fully funded scholarship to one student, then we're basically taking it away from other students. So the short answer is no, we don't have fully funded scholarship, but we do have partial scholarships. Please reach out to your enrollment advisor to have them answer any questions regarding scholarships for you, and especially like how to apply for scholarships. Can your dependents stay with you in the campus? Christina, if you could just answer this for me. I believe they can, right? Especially if they're asking about HULT House.
They can. It depends on the size of the family, obviously. Although I can tell you that most of our students who have families live off campus, as far as I know. So they can definitely explore that with Residential Life team.
Okay, next one will be for Priyam. Please advise on the difference between STEM track program and dual degree. Would you be able to answer that?
Absolutely, I'm more than happy to, and thank you for that question. That's a brilliant question, honestly. So STEM traditionally is a program. I do believe it's a part of our MBA program as well as the MIB program now. But STEM is nothing but an extension which you get after you graduate out of a one-year full master's program here in the United States. So what that means is that, let's say, for example, I'm going to pursue my MBA. And so I can consider my MBA as a STEM MBA, which would actually give me a 3-year work authorization after I actually graduate. So how the 3 years is calculated, which I know is a major question that most people ask, is that after you graduate out of any program here in the United States, you get a 1-year work authorization, which is known as the OPT, or the optional practical training. That comes with every single master's program here in the US. But what a STEM would make you eligible for is a 2-year extension. So that is what we call a 2-year STEM extension. So ultimately, you would get a 3-year work authorization, which is that 1 year of OPT and the 2 years of the STEM extension. This is certainly a value add to your degree. And just know that if you are pursuing STEM, you will be inclined to take more analytical driven courses, the ones that clearly Walter was talking about a few minutes ago. And again, these are extension within your electives. So you would have to take about 6 to 7 quantitative based courses, like supply chain analytics, so on and so forth, to actually be eligible for the STEM. So that's exactly how the STEM works.
Thank you. And then when you get a job in the US after graduation, does your F1 visa get extended, or do you have to reapply for a new or other visa? Do you want to answer this, Priyam, or do you want me?
I am happy to answer it quickly, and then Ellie, I'd love for you to jump in. Certainly a visa-based question. But when you do graduate out of HALT, you start this whole process of OPT. So when you start the process of OPT, you get something called as an EAD card, which is your work authorization card. And you also get a new I-20, which is the OPT I-20, which is sanctioned under your name. So the current I-20 that you have is, as a student will completely transform and change into a new I-20. And that's exactly how that authorization gets extended for one entire year before obviously you go for the STEM extension before the expiration of that I-20. Ellie, do you want to add on to something?
Yeah. Sorry. So your F1 visa helps you get in and out of the country. You will always have to have a valid I-20 to be legally allowed to stay in United States. When you get a job offer in US after graduation, your F1 visa does not get extended. If it is expired during that time that Priyam's saying that you have your EAD, you still have to apply for a new visa if you want to leave the country and then come back in during that time period. I hope that was we were able to answer your question, Louis. Next one, is HALT able to help in arranging student loan for their students? Yes, we do offer loan support. So especially for international students, we are providing resources, or like some of the typical loan providers that our international students use, so that you'd still have to do the application yourself, but we still provide you with the resources that would help you or narrow down your search for loan providers.
Mm-hmm.
I want to let everyone know that we will be sending the recording after this. So I know a couple of you are asking for it. May I have details for dual degree program? What is the details for transfer and study in different campus like London? So in terms of transferring to different campus, especially like either doing the dual degree or during your global rotation program, there really are not much restrictions except applying for a new visa, especially if you're moving to a different country. So if, let's say, you start your campus in Boston and you want to do a dual degree in our London campus, you will have to apply for a visa, for a student visa, and then really depends on the on when you secured your seat with HALT and registered for a dual degree, that would affect your dual degree tuition award offer. I hope I was able to answer your question. Next thing, can you confirm that we're applying F1 visa? As an international student coming to the United States, you will need to apply for an F1 visa. If you're accepted to the London campus, can I change to a US campus before the course start date? Yes, you can change to a different campus or a different program provided you are qualified for the other program. You can change program and campus as long as we have seats available on campus. So I would suggest if you're thinking about it now, set a deadline for yourself so you're able to let your enrollment advisor know ahead of time, and they would be able to check with admissions whether we have seats available in the campus or program of choice. I'm just gonna move to the chat. A couple of people are asking about the Flywire rate. With Holtz, you will have to go through Flywire. The reason being it's supposed to give you the best rate in terms of like Nigerian dollar exchange. So please, just to give you an idea, Flywire gives you the best rate. Banks typically don't give you the best rate because sometimes there is that charge as well. So you are able to pay for a confirmation deposit using Flywire only. If you'd like to apply for both an MBA and a master's in marketing, what should I start with for the beginning of next September? Da Vinci, can you clarify this in the Q&A box with me just so that I can answer this properly? And then from Gary, it says, please talk about STEM program and stay back in US after studies. Priyam, do you want to answer this, the OPT part, or do you want me?
Yeah, I do believe that we might have already picked up on that question, Ellie, because I do believe that we spoke about STEM, the benefits of STEM and the extension of STEM. I think the one thing that I didn't add on was STEM is traditionally a value add to the product. So it's like a product extension. So traditionally, when you start an MBA or you start an MIB, it's going to be a non-STEM degree. But during this time, which happens to be January, the deans will reach out to you personally to actually ask you if you want to pursue a STEM-based MBA or a STEM-based MIB, to which you would have to respond. And so that is the one thing that I quickly wanted to add on. These are value adds to the degree, and STEM extension is certainly a value add to a professional master's degree.
Thank you. In the brochure mentioned that MBA is not covered under STEM, only Masters in Business Analytics. Are you sure one-year MBA included in STEM? So our Masters in International Business and Masters in Business Administration can be converted into a STEM program. So it's not a STEM program. You can convert it into a STEM program by doing extra electives and specializing in business analytics or finance during your electives. That's the only way you can convert it to a STEM program. Other than that, our other STEM programs are our Masters in Finance and Masters in Business Analytics program. I hope I'm able to answer that, Gary. For loan, what is the interest percentage? It really depends on the loan provider that you choose. The link that the enrollment advisors typically offer students will show all of that. Do the professors have professional experiences, or are they dedicated researchers who explore the theoretical rather than the practical field? Most of our professors are faculty in like Harvard, Babson, MIT, but they also have their own business. Usually they come from consulting firms, they start their own business. Like some of our professors, like let's say Professor Hapclap, he's like retired from North Face, or like he's like as a consultant in North Face, but he started North Face. So a lot of our professors have their own business and they are practicing in the field. The reason being, we want professors who are always immersed in what's going on in the world right now and in the industry, so that the information we're sharing with our students are not outdated. So in the interest of time, if we are not able to answer all your questions, it's already 11 a.m. in Boston. If we are not able to answer any of your questions, do feel free to drop us a quick message. We do have a chat bot in our website. Also, your enrollment advisor will reach out to you if you're able to either start your application or download a brochure from our website. But that's all the time we have for today, and this hour has flown by. So I'd like to thank all our speakers for joining us today. I also want to thank everyone at home for listening in. I hope you have learned a lot. If you want to keep learning about Holt, we have lots of virtual events happening. So please head to holt.edu/events and register or reach out to your enrollment advisors. Thanks, everyone.